everyone, here we are going to simulate a traffic light management system using core Java. Also here we are going to show you that how we are going to represent this traffic light management system in graphical user interface for visualization. The main component include in this traffic lights logic basically like one controller to manage the state transitions and the user interface to display the current state of the traffic light. Here we are going to create different types of component which have the different types of functionalities. Like once we are going to build that system, that traffic light management system with supporting that graphical user interface, so we need to create different types of class. That is nothing but we are calling here that components like traffic light class, which will managing the state in a traffic light. Basically the three state over here I am going to cover. One is the green, red and the yellow. Okay, so these are the state and timing of each traffic light, so that we are going to manage the state of this light actually in a traffic light class. Next component will be traffic light panel class. The responsible of this class, it's a kind of the swing component, because once we are going to create the GUI, means graphical user interface, then we need some kind of jar mechanism or some kind of technologies from where we need to display. So as we are going to using the core Java, so over here we are going to swing, which will actually support this GUI. Okay, so using swing component we can visualize the traffic light state and the maybe remaining time of the state. Next we are going to create another class, or let's say it's a component, traffic light controller. It will manage the state transition of the traffic light and also update the traffic light panel, and runs in a separate thread. I will explain in detail when I'm going to create that particular component. And the last one is the traffic light management system class. It will basically initialize the traffic light controllers and the GUI components and instead the simulation. So now for implementing this approach, basically we need to create one Java project. Here I'm not going to create the Spring Boot project actually. A Java project only suffice our need. So how we are going to create the Java project? So from file actually you need to select on the new menu. Over here you need to select this Java project, and over there you just need to choose the project name, Java version and the things, and nothing else is required. Okay, so once you clicked on this create, then it will generate the project something like that. So it will like only having this source folder. So over here we can create some packages like let's say maybe it's a kind of com dot, let me create this package, Java text solution dot traffic dot GUI. Okay, so this package we have created. Now here we can create one class that is called the traffic light. The responsible of this class, it's basically for managing the state of this traffic light. It keeps track of the current state, like the which color basically of this light, red, green and the yellow. So let us create one new class, traffic light. Okay, and here it's having, here we are going to keep two actually attributes, state and the time of this the duration for each state actually. Like let's say green time, then yellow light time and the red light time. Here we are going to create few methods, the get state, get current state duration, change state and the display state. Get state method actually return the current state, then get current state duration. So let me create those method one by one. So first of all, state actually you need to define over here. Traffic light state, where basically we need to define all the state. Okay, so this traffic light state. Okay, so if we open this one here, if you see that so here if you see that we have created these three enum like red, green and the yellow. Okay, where basically we are keeping the color red, green and yellow. So this traffic light state we need to create. So this will actually basically maintain the state of this one. We need to create one object that will maintain the lock. I will explain that thing. Then we need to define the 3 time, the duration for green light, yellow light and the red time. Okay, so we need to defining this 3 time over here. We need to initialize in a constructor. We need to create one constructor over here, and then we need to initialize those time, like we need to pass from the main class. So if you see the time in the millisecond for this, it stays green. For yellow also, for the if it is a red, then how many times it will be stay. So that also we can define over here. Next we need to create one method which will basically return the current state of this one, like get state method, which will return the state of this light. Next we can change the method, change the state. So for that we need to use the synchronize block. I'm explaining that why we are going to use this synchronize, but let the complete the class explanation implementation. Then we need the get current state duration, means whatever the state it is, for that what duration is there. Like if it is a green, then we need to return this green time. If it is a yellow, then we need to return the time for the yellow light. If it is a red, then we need to return the time for the red light. If it is not match, they need to return the 0. Okay, we can also like display the state. Okay, that we can create one method. Here also we need to use the synchronize. Now like if we talked about that why synchronization is important over here. So why we need the synchronize method actually. So for there are few things to take care by the synchronize, like consistency, thread safety and the data integrity. Consistency means the synchronize block ensure that state transition changing from one state to the another, like red to green, green to yellow, etc., are executed automatically, meaning the operations inside the block are completely without interruption. Next, thread safety. If let's say like there's a multiple thread which are allowed to call this change state methods are simultaneously, and the synchronize block ensure that only one thread can execute this method at a time. This prevents the race condition and ensure the state of this modified in a controlled manner, right? If we are not going to use, then multiple thread can access this one in the same time. So just to avoid that one or prevent this one, we need to use the synchronize keyword over here. Next is the data integrity. It prevents inconsistent reads and write of the state. Basically, you know, in this method actually if you're not going to actually used, then maybe it may get some wrong values, but that is not expected. That is called the data integrity. Okay, so that is also maintaining by the synchronize block. So these are the reason. For that reason basically we need to use the synchronize block over here. So this is the about this traffic light class. Next we are going to create traffic light panel class. So now we are going to create this traffic light panel class, where basically we need to, it's a custom swing component that actually help us to visualize the traffic light current state, and the multiple light also will display, but which is basically the state is that light only display, like red, green and yellow will display the 3 lights, but only like visually we can see that red light is actually now on, other will be off state. So that actually we are going to implement using this in a class traffic light panel class. Here we are going to defining one attribute, that is the state. It will defining the current state of the traffic light. Another 2 method we are going to create, where actually we need to set the state, which will basically update the state and for repaint the panel. And another one, the paint component, basically which is responsible to designing or creating the GUI, where actually we need to pass the graphics and draw the traffic light and the current state over there. So let us create that particular class, like this traffic light panel. Let me create it. Create new class over here, traffic light, and this particular class extend the J panel. So J panel is a swing component. We need to import, if you see that from where we are importing, if you see that javax.swing.jpanel. So this is actually the swing component. Using this we are going to defining the uh, like GUI component. Here we can add this generated serial ID. Okay, now we need to define one state over here, the attribute traffic light state, which will basically responsible to defining the state of the light. We need to create one like constructor over here, where we need to defining the dimension of the like where actually we are going to display the UI dimension. So here we have set this dimension as 100 and by 300, means it's a XY. So width and height, this is the width and this is the height. Okay, so this is the preferred size that we are defining over here. Next we can like do the like set state one method over here, which will be where we are passing the state and we are changing the state over here, and then we are going to do the repaint. Now as JPanel actually having this one method that is called this method paint one paint component. Okay, paint component, it's not J component. Over here it will be that paint component will be there. If you see that paint component, this method is over here, and here actually it's we need to pass this graphics G. So this actually we need to overwrite, where we need to write all the logic for drawing the things. Okay, so let me add that method. Okay, so this is the implementation for paint this graphics or GUI. Like here we have showing this diameter of the light, where actually we need to display this one. When the color will be changed, if it is a state is red, then we set the color is red, else it will be a gray, means it will be looks like the light is off currently. So only if the state is red or yellow or green, then only it will show different types of color, else it will be dark gray and it will be looks like a off one. So this is the implementation of this panel one, which will be basically responsible to drawing the or paint the GUI, where basically we are going to display that traffic light state and the all the things over there. Next, what we are going to do next, actually we are going to create the traffic light controller class. This is all about this traffic light panel. Next we are going to create that controller class. So now here we are going to create another class that is called the traffic light controller class. The responsible of this class for managing the state transition of the traffic light. It runs in a separate thread, updating the state and timer every second, and also updating the traffic light panel. Here we are going to use the attribute, that traffic light, the traffic light object and the panel, this panel actually, okay, the corresponding traffic light panel. Here we are going to create one method that is called the run, that basically we need to create or implement in it for each every thread. The main logic for the controller, it's actually update the traffic light panel with the current state, and like also it will be showing the timer, like in backend actually it will also show the timer that when it will be actually end. Based on the changing is based on the time, it will also change the state when the timer actually about to end. Okay, so let's create this controller class here, and let me create that particular class. New class traffic light controller. Okay, so here we need to implement runnable interface, because as here we are going to use the thread concept. Okay, and once we are implementing this, then we need to implement this run method. Okay, so first of all we need to use two attributes and we need to initialize. Okay, so here if you see that we need to use this traffic light and the traffic light panel, and using the constructor we are initializing, because final variable either in a declaration on the time of the declaration we can declare or initialize, or in the constructor we can initialize, right? Then here we are going to change the state over here, like we are return means running the infinite times of loop, and here based on the state and the current state duration it will be sleep, and again it will be change the state. Like what it will do, like in a panel we are setting the state, like what is the current state, and then the particular thread will be sleep for this state duration. The duration will come from over here, and these are the time. Okay, these are the time I will pass in a constructor, and then here actually it will change the state. Okay, like here if you see, then it will actually change the state over here. This is the state. Okay, if it is a red, then it will go to the green. If it is a green, then it will go to the yellow. If it is yellow, then it will go to the red. In similar way it will go for the infinite times, because we are using the while loop over here. So this is about this traffic light controller class. In next we are going to create the traffic light management system, that is the main entry point class. Okay, in next we are going to create that class and we'll check. So now here we are going to create another class which will be the entry point of the application, that is traffic light management system. Okay, it initialize the traffic light controllers and the GUI components, and also start the simulation. So in a main method basically it will initialize the 2 traffic lights with a specific duration for each state, and also it will create the corresponding traffic light panel components for visualization, and also it will create and start the traffic light controller threads to manage the state transitions. Okay, so now like we will create that particular class, then I will show you that how we are going to like maintain, means how it is actually behaving. I also explain the things. So let create this class first. New class, traffic light management system. Okay, so here actually we are going to create the main method. It is basically behave as a entry point. Okay, so the main method is the entry point class. Now here we are going to use this swing utilities and invoke later, like we need to defining this one. Okay, if you see this swing utilities is coming from this javax.swing.swing utilities. So here first of all we need to create this JFrame. JFrame is nothing but it will be define that layout. Okay, using the JFrame we can defining the layout of this one. Like here it will be showing the title, exit on close, and grid layout it will be 1 or 2. Now here first of all we need to create one traffic light object. This is the object. Like if you see this, we are passing the 3 attribute over here. That means, so if you see, if you open over here, the first one means it's a time for this green light, means 5 seconds it will show. For the yellow it's a time for 2 seconds, and the red, for the red light actually it will be show this 5 seconds. It's time is in a millisecond basically. If you see the time in the millisecond. Okay, so this time actually passing from over here, means we can pass any time from over here, so that based on the time it will be like change the state after certain time. Next we are going to create that panel that we have created, the traffic light panel. Next we need to create the controller, where in a controller basically we need to pass these 2 object, where is the traffic light, another one is the traffic light panel, and then based on the thread we need to start this controller, right, this controller. So if we start this application, then you can see okay, so this is actually that using this means we can now start this application to check that like how it will be look like. Okay, for checking actually now we need to start this application. So how we are going to start the main application, just right click over here and choose the run as Java application. So it will start the application and it will open this frame, JFrame, this one, but it is not opening, but program started. Okay, why it is not starting basically? So whatever the frame actually you have created, it is not visible. Even also this panel actually, that panel we need to add in a frame. So that's why first of all we need to add this panel in a frame, and then we need to frame dot set visible true. Okay, now if we start this application, so it will open one GUI. If you see this one, and here initially if you see this red signal over here, and then green, and after certain time it will be go to the yellow, and in that manner it will be going in a infinite kind of time, right? And this type, and the time we can change from over here, like whatever the time we can set over here, so that we don't need to wait. Let's say if it's a 500 millisecond, then it's a 200, and it's a 500 millisecond. Okay, so if we run this one, it will be change faster. If you see, the light state are the changing the faster. Okay, now if we can create another actually frame also, another panel over here, like 2, then panel 2, and the controller 2. Here we need to pass this object 2, and then we need to, here we need to start this controller 2, and in a frame we need to add this panel 2. Okay, so now if we start this application, so if you see that 2 frame actually here, right? And the state are changing in infinite times. Now let's change the time to the previous one. Means we can change, means we can set any time, that how many times we need to set those things, set those timer, run as Java application. If you see, that is, it is coming now. Okay, so this is the thing, that how like we can create this traffic light management system using Core Java with the help of the swing, because for visualization for Core Java we need the swing for creating this JFrame and the panel and all the stuff. So this is all about this one. Thank you for joining me on this journey to create a traffic light management system using Core Java with GUI. I hope you found the tutorial insightful and engaging. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more tutorials. Happy coding!